Okay, there we go. Okay, now we're in business. Welcome aboard, everyone. This is a live show. If you're tuned in at approximately 9:30 p.m. New York City time, you have the opportunity to watch and comment live. See, we got several people trickling in. Bennett said, "What is this?" Epic Drone Show is a live show on my channel. I try to host live shows periodically. It's drone centric. So if you're a drone hobbyist, maybe you're interested in becoming involved with the hobby, this is a great opportunity for everyone to chat and potentially have a really good time. So welcome aboard. Without further ado, let's go ahead and let's get started here. You can see over my shoulder back there. It's funny when you're pointing on camera because everything's opposite, but you can see that big Maine Coon cat. That is Sean Coonery, the enormous Maine Coon. He is in the studio this evening, so I know there's no giveaways. Something hopefully in the future, maybe I'll be able to in the future explore that. I did do some giveaways in the past, but yeah, that's a good thought. That's something I'll research for possibly for a future episode. But we've got a lot of excitement. I mean, we've gotten through the fun associated with the DJI Spark, and I kind of wanted to poll the viewers out there and ask y'all what what do y'all think about the Spark? Have you gotten your hands on it? Have you had a chance to define flaws? Have you found things with the Spark that you thought was really cool? I mean, it's this is an open forum. I mean, I like to keep things real and not sugarcoat anything. And it doesn't just have to be DJI Spark. We can talk about any sort of drone technologies. I don't know, if y'all been watching GoPro recently, but GoPro, despite having their unfortunate first run with the drone being the GoPro Karma, it seems as if they may have some stuff brewing behind the scenes now, because we've got the GoPro Fusion, which is a 360-degree camera, and one could speculate that that 360-degree camera may make an appearance on a drone from GoPro in the future. And if GoPro releases a drone with a 360-degree spherical camera that's a quality product and is very small and lightweight, they could really potentially become a competitor for DJI despite their shortcomings with their first stab at the drone industry. Fly High Guy says, "Do you still have your Spark, or are you going to return it?" It's not defective, so I mean, I'm obviously not going to return it. But it's the Spark. It's fun, and I like where DJI is heading with that. I realize that from a marketing perspective, that's probably why we didn't see as much with the Spark as we could have. I mean, we didn't get 4K. We didn't get we didn't get a lot of things. Didn't get a 3-axis gimbal, but it signals where DJI is heading, and it was a very well-made drone. But I don't know. Clay McCoy says, "How do I save my videos from my Phantom 4 to my PC and be able to view them?" Well, what I would recommend, and actually I've got one in front of me here. This right here is just a little micro SD card, like the micro SD card that would be in your Phantom 4, your Phantom 3, or whatever. And then this right here is a little thing that you can stick it in, and you stick it in this, and then you can stick this in your computer's USB port. I was never a fan of connecting a USB cable. I used one of these. Shoot me a message if you want to on my Facebook fan page, and I'll send you a link to one of these. They're super cheap, man. I'm facebook.com/IrixGuy, but I'll send you a link. These are really cheap, and I found that they work really well for me. I use a Mac, but obviously it's something that would work with a PC as well, Windows computer. So Bennett says, "Agreed. I've crashed the Spark going backwards twice." And Soar Over One says, "Yeah, needs a backup sensor." I think especially given the speed of the Spark, I think the backup sensor is something that would be highly beneficial with version 2 if they release a version 2 of the Spark. So never trust that obstacle avoidance, but if it's there and if it does happen to work, it could be a quick save. So why haven't we seen an underwater drone yet? I know there's some lesser known companies that have them, but why haven't we seen DJI release a drone that can go underwater? You know, and more importantly, why haven't we seen DJI release a drone that has a 360 camera? Clay says, I had it on SD card but can't view it on PC. Yeah, just shoot me a message, because I'm really limited on YouTube, like sending links and stuff. They don't typically work. So, yeah, just shoot me a message and I'll be happy to send you a link. Now, Fly High Guy says, I just pre-ordered the Phantom 50. This has action, dinner, makes you dinner. Did y'all hear? Apparently there was someone, and I was talking to some people today, and they told me about this, and I didn't hear about it. But I'm getting a link to it. So apparently, this is an interesting article. Let me shoot y'all a link. So the gist of it is that a South Carolina prisoner, and I'm reading the article, so quote this CNN article. It says, a South Carolina prisoner broke out of prison using a cell phone, a makeshift dummy, a drone, and wire cutters, the South Carolina Department of Corrections said Friday. Let me send y'all a link to this. So I thought this was kind of interesting. Just an interesting article. But yeah, what else? What are y'all excited about? I mean, I know drones have, you know, we've seen a lot. We've seen a lot in the past few years, and it makes one wonder, you know, what's next? What's going to be the next thing that we see from a drone that's completely unexpected? And you know, not that the hobby has become stale at all. I mean, it's more exciting than ever. But you know, what's going to be that next big innovation? I mean, you know, we look at things like you know, like iPhones, for example. You know, they come out with new iPhones, but you know, really, how different is it? You know, the first iPhone was revolutionary, and then it just kind of got to where it's like, oh, it's just another iPhone. You know, what's DJI or what's another to-be discovered drone manufacturer going to release that's just going to make people think, man, you know, this is so cool? Because I know all of y'all out there, when you flew your drone for the first time, you probably thought, this doesn't seem real, because it was so cool. And it worked. I mean, who would have thought that something with 4 propellers and a controller could fly that reliably, and, you know, moreover, could carry a camera that would capture video that looks better than video that's handheld. I mean, it's more stable and it's more level. It's just really, really fascinating stuff. But yeah, we've got. I think I told you all this. If you go to epicdroneshow.com, and I'm going to add some more designs. But if you go to epicdroneshow.com, you can find the link that says store, and then go to merch. And I've got Epic Drone Show T-shirts, and I'm gonna get some coffee mugs, and some other items there. They feature the new Epic Drone Show logo. So you know, something cool if you're looking for something for yourself, or if you're looking for a great gift item. I mean, it's a I guess I'm kind of biased because I created Epic Drone Show, but I think they look pretty cool. Fly High Guy says that Phantom X sounds more like a reality. Yeah, that's interesting, because we remember, what was that, about a year or so ago, when DJI put out the teaser about the Phantom X, and it almost makes me wonder if that teaser video about the Phantom X was just signaling all the things that we're going to see from the other drones, and then, you know, maybe they're kind of testing the waters. Because what was interesting with the Spark, you know, with the Spark we got gestures, and Spark's the first time that we got to play with the gesture functionality. So it's almost like they released the Mavic to test to test the market's reaction to a smaller and a more lightweight drone. And then they released the Spark to see, well, if we make it radically smaller, what are people going to say or do? And we're not going to give them 4K because we want to see if they'll still accept 1080p. You know, and they gimped us. They gimped the Spark quite heavily. I mean, to have such an aggressive price tag on it, when you really look at it, they really tested the market, because I mean that's aggressively priced for what you get. Yeah, it is smaller, but that's still aggressively priced for what comes with it, in my opinion. Steve says, I've had the Phantom 3 Pro for a couple years. I love it, but looking forward to see what the Phantom 5 will bring. And you know, the Phantom 3 Pro, I look at it as one of the first excellent drones from DJI. I mean, obviously we had the Phantom 1, which was, hey, this works, this is cool. And then we strapped on a GoPro, and we had a gimbal on a Phantom 1 and a Phantom 2. And then the Phantom 2 Vision Plus came out, and it brought us a DJI branded camera. Actually, I guess there was a Phantom 2 Vision that had a DJI camera, but the Phantom 2 Vision Plus was 1080p. And then the Phantom 3 Pro came out and just really changed everything. You know, they brought in the light bridge technology. They brought in 4K video. You know, I think the Phantom 3 is when DJI really stepped up to the plate and said, you know what, we're serious about cameras, we're serious about drones, we're serious about just dominating this space. You know, we're gonna continue to remain the industry leader and the industry innovator. I mean, that's what they did. And Phantom 4 and Phantom 4 Pro, you know, great stuff, but not really that radically different from the Phantom 3 Pro. So I'm with you. I have a feeling that, you know, the Phantom 5, it's almost going to have to be radically different somehow. Because the Phantom 3 Pro, the Phantom 4, and the Phantom 4 Pro, they're all great, but, you know, there's not a radical difference among those three drones. So Fly High Guy says, flew the Spark today, gestures didn't work too good. You know, I had the same problem, and a lot of viewers criticized me when I was out in the field and, you know, waving at the thing and doing everything and reading in the app, the in-app instructions, and I just didn't have a good experience with the gestures. And, you know, maybe it was failure on my behalf to understand what I was trying to do to interpret the instructions. But I don't know. Drones for life. What about the Mavic Pro 2? Mavic Pro 2, that is, and granted, I was counting the days for the Spark because I was really excited about it. You know, something new, something to tinker with. But the Mavic Pro 2, you know, again, I'm hoping that the Mavic Pro 2 comes out in August. You know, from a release timetable perspective, that would seem to make sense. It would get it out there to the world that's saying, hey, we've got a new drone, you know, hint, hint, get this for holidays, a Christmas present or whatever. And I think it would make sense if they announced it, whether it goes on sale in August or not, but if they at least announced it in August, I think that would be great. And I think the Mavic Pro 2, I mean, obviously there's going to have to be some enhancements. I mean, the Mavic Pro was good, and for a first drone of its platform, I felt that they did a really good job with the Mavic Pro. But the Mavic Pro 2 is going to have 4K 60 or better. It's going to need to have a 1-inch sensor on the camera, and it's going to need to have as good or better stability of video than the Phantom 4 Pro, or at least the Phantom 4, I would say, because, you know, price Mavic Pro 2, you know, I don't like the idea of newer versions of products going up in price, and I think that my opinion is that the Mavic Pro, for what it was somewhat aggressively priced. I don't feel that the Mavic Pro was as aggressively priced as the Spark. I felt that the Spark could have been offered at a much lower price point. But I think the Mavic Pro 2, see, it gets tricky here because they released that Spark at such a high price point that it's going to make, you know, unless DJI sees some competition, it's going to make getting that Mavic Pro 2 to us for under $1,000 US it's going to make it somewhat challenging because they don't want to price it too low and get too close to the Spark, because if they did that, they would need to reduce the price of the Spark. My honest opinion is that what they should do, and now they probably won't do it because I'm assuming everything's selling like hotcakes because they have great products, but what they should do, in my opinion, they should release a Spark at about $300 US. They should release the Mavic Pro line at approximately $600 to $700 US, and then they should get the Phantom to come in around $900. And you've got 3 drones below the $1,000 price point. And then if they want to have those industrial drones, the Matrices and the Inspires and all that, and charge whatever they want to for it, go for it. But keep these consumer drones, this trio of consumer drones, keep them below $1,000 US mark. I think that would be great. I think they would probably see more sales. But I mean, M Webb says, I am a Phantom guy. I love my Phantom 3 Advanced, especially the size. Hate the fabrication, stress cracks, and broken, weak remote controller internal screw post. It's interesting you say that. Looking back at the Phantom 3, there were a lot of reports of stress cracks. Now, I never experienced it, but I attribute that to the fact that before I flew my Phantom 3 Pro for the first time, I installed quick disconnect prop guards. And by doing so, I removed the factory screws and replaced them with the longer screws that attached to the quick disconnect prop guards. And if my theory is correct, my assumption is that likely what happened, if people did encounter cracks, those screws that are below the motors were likely over-tightened when they left the factory. That's an assumption. But I base that assumption upon the fact that I never had the problem, but my workaround would have been installing those quick disconnect prop guards before my maiden flight, and I didn't over-tighten them. But yeah, and then I did have something, what was weird with the Phantom 3 Pro, I did have something that broke loose inside the controller, and every time I was flying, I'd hear like a rattle. It was like a screw or something. I never took it apart to see what was in there, but it's kind of weird. Integrity Aerial Perspective says, howdy everybody. That and you fly like an old lady. Just kidding. Actually, I do, because I keep it slow and cinematic. Yeah. So what else we got in here? Get this drone chatter going. We got a ton of people tuning in live, which is great. That's something else I want to encourage y'all to do is share this on your social media while we're live, and we may even get more people to tune in live. So that's that's the cool part about this. And as I mentioned previously, you can find all the previously recorded episodes. Just go to epicdroneshow.com, and I'm trying to get been doing a lot of work on the website. I've moved it over to Amazon Web Services because I need a faster data center. I was getting a lot of hits, and had to optimize the site. So I think y'all find the website to load very quickly now, whereas in the past it was so slow that it was cumbersome to go to. Drones for Life says, what's your favorite drone? I will still say my favorite drone, and this is today, being July the 8th of year 2017. My favorite drone right now is still the Phantom 4. And I know the Phantom 4 does not have 4K 60. It tops out at 4K 30. But if you look at the intro and outro to my Epic Drone shows, the most current shows that I've hosted, you'll see that island that I flew over. And I filmed that with the Phantom 4. And when you see that intro clip and the outro clip, it's perfectly level, it's smooth, it's good image quality, and I never had hiccups with the Phantom 4 filming in 4K 30. I really loved the image quality of the Phantom 4 Pro, especially the still photos. But the 4K 60 was absolutely amazing. And being able to retime 4K 60 video is a real treat. You speed it up, you slow it down, it's going to look a lot smoother when it's been retimed than video that was filmed in 4K 30. Unfortunately, with the Phantom 4 Pro, and I had 2 units, I had it wasn't anything severely wrong, but when I would fly, let's just say I was filming for 15 minutes or so, intermittently I would get what I referred to as a video spasm, and it would just do like that. It was intermittent. You know, I didn't know when it was going to happen, if it was going to happen. But the fact that that intermittent video flaw occurred, you know, that's kept me saying that on today's date, July the 8th of 2017, the Phantom 4 is still my favorite drone. Even though it's not the most current drone from DJI, it's still currently my favorite drone, just because it's proven to be very reliable for me. And that's what matters, you know. When you've got limited battery life, when you've got limited time, you know, at certain filming destinations, what's worse than getting what could be the perfect flight and then discover that there was a defect with the video that may have potentially occurred during a key moment of the video filming? So, you know, just something to chew on there. Sky High Photography Videography says, what do you recommend, Mavic Pro or Spark? You know, if portability is what you're looking for, but you still want quality, you want that 4K video, I would definitely go Mavic Pro. And you know, again, I encourage everybody to do this. If you go to epicdroneshow.com, go to store, and then go to drone store, you can find all the drones there. So, you know, between those two, between the Spark and the Mavic Pro, I would recommend Mavic Pro, just because it's a more refined experience. And you know, if you watch my channel before, you know I'm obsessed with 4K video, and I didn't get that with the Spark. Also, the battery life on the Mavic Pro is very nice. On the Spark, it's enough to, throw it up in the air and get some selfie videos and play around with it a little bit. But the battery life on the Spark, by the time you really start enjoying it, it's almost time to put it down. And that was, you know, if you've watched my first flight with the Spark video where I was out in the front of a boat, that was not doctored up. I mean, when my low battery hit, and then I had some waves kick up around the boat, you know, that was a hairy landing. And you know, had I had the Mavic Pro, I would have had more battery life to attempt the landing more times. So I would go Mavic Pro if I was choosing between those two. Ace Report said the Spark needs longer battery life. It's a no-sell for me because of that. Yeah, the battery life on the Spark was a disappointment. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a deal breaker, because let's step back. Let's step back and look at the Spark. If someone's using the Spark for extreme portability, and granted, when the Mavic Pro's all folded up, it's really not that much bigger than the Spark. The Spark and the Mavic Pro, when the Mavic Pro's folded, if I'm carrying the two, one or the other around, because the Spark doesn't fold, I would rather have the Mavic Pro. Even though the Mavic Pro is bigger and heavier, the fact that it folds up for transport and I can get 4K video and just a better overall experience with better battery life. Yeah, the Spark though, see if they reduce the price of the Spark to say $250 or $300 US, if they did that, and people were buying the Spark with the expectation that, you know, hey, this is something small, lightweight, not too expensive. If I lose it or break it, it's not gonna put me in a state of financial distress. But you know, the convenience of having something like that, to be able to conveniently pull out, throw up in the air, not throw up in the air, but launch into the air and get like an active track, you know, follow you riding a bicycle or something like that. It would be a cool application for that. But it's just, the battery thing is annoying. I mean, if you want to do anything beyond a quick shot, there's just not enough battery life to do that. Or if you're filming something and it's not exactly perfect, you know, you don't have a lot of time remaining on the battery to reshoot. Jack Lucas Marr says the thing that makes me annoyed living in Australia and drones there are so much more expensive. $9.99 US for the Mavic translates to $13.50 in Australian dollars, but it retails for, whoa, that's expensive. Ron says, would if they just give you the transmitter included for $4.99. Yeah, and you know what's funny? The controller for the Spark, I mean, to be frank, I mean, I got the bundle that came with the controller, the more expensive bundle, and I don't see the controller being a value. I mean, I don't see that's that to me is not the selling point for the Spark. I think the best thing with the Spark is, you know, just having your smartphone out if you want to use the controller. Now, obviously, you're not going to get good range with that. But if you just launch it and use the Active Track, Active Track was my favorite feature with the Spark. But again, I'm not getting 4K video. I'm not getting a 3-axis gimbal. It's just kind of... the Spark is a very well-made drone, and I'm by no means saying that it's not. But I'm pointing out what I don't like about it. STK's Adventure Channel. Hey, man. Hello, IrixGuy from Remote Studio in Music City. Oh, he's in Music City. Now, everyone that hasn't watched STK's Adventure Channel, check him out on youtube.com/summertime Ken. Actually, you'll find a lot of videos. STK's Adventure Channel has a place in Bermuda. And actually, they're texting me right now. Hold on just a second. It'll be just a... So, that's cool you're in a Music City, but it was cool when we did a YouTube collaboration in Bermuda, in St. George's, Bermuda, which is the eastern tip of Bermuda, and went out on this boat and caught mahi, wahoo, and all kinds of fish. So, yeah, check out the videos. But yeah, man, thanks again. Thanks again for letting us go out on your boat and catching all his fish, because that was really cool in Bermuda. Very cool. Thanks for tuning in, man. Drones. Sky High Videography says, what's the biggest thing you want to see from Mavic Pro 2? Mavic Pro 2, I don't want an inferior camera. I want a camera that's as good or better than the Phantom 4. And I want to have 4K 60. But even if I just get 4K 30, if I get a 1-inch sensor, so it's super high quality, you know, that would be exceptional. Drones for Life says, hi, could you check out my channel? I just uploaded my first drone. Yeah, I will, man. I can't click your... let me see here. Oh, actually, I can. I just had to click the little bars. I'm going to do go to channel, and I'm going to sub you right now. Cool. I just subbed your channel, and I see your Sunsets video. I'll check it out, man. I'll check it out after this live show. Jack Uzmar says, no, that's another thing. The Spark is targeted as a budget DJI drone, but it costs $860. Ron Brown says, the Spark is the best selfie drone, bar none. I agree with that. The Breeze is a distant second. I've never used the Breeze, but I used the, what was it called? The Typhoon H, and I was horribly disappointed because I had a defective camera and a defective micro SD card slot on the controller, which was ridiculous. But Jack Lucas Mar said, true Ron Brown. Sky High Videography, please check out my channel, my drone channel. Okay, subbing you right now, bro. Go to channel, and boom. That's a cool, your intro graphic, dude, on the beach. That's really cool. Welcome, Behendo15. And Behendo15 says, I wish the droney feature of the Spark worked. You know what's funny? And I thought it was just me, but when I did the droney with the Spark, and y'all can see it in my field test video, it kind of went out. I was thinking it was just going to go kind of up at an angle, and it was I don't know. I don't know what happened. Ron Brown says, the Mavic 2 with the Phantom 4 camera would be the holy grail, and get rid of the tap to focus. Amen. Amen. Get rid of the tap to focus. That tap to focus, and that was something I had failed to mention earlier, the tap to focus is so annoying because, you know, I first was aggravated by that with the Mavic Pro, and then I was aggravated again with the Phantom 4 Pro. Why did we not have to tap to focus with a Phantom 4 in previous drones? You know, that tap to focus is a nuisance because inevitably what's going to happen, somebody's going to fail to tap to focus. They're going to be in a very cool destination. They're going to have a limited number of batteries, and they're not going to have a place to recharge them. They're going to fly that perfect flight, and they're going to import the video, and it's all going to be out of focus because they forgot to tap. Come on, DJI, let's fix that. Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, the tap to focus, that is a nuisance. Bhendo15 says, I'm surprised there hasn't been an update yet. Jack Lucas, yeah, I am too. That is kind of weird. Jack Lucas Marr, do you think that electronic stabilization will ever equal or surpass a true gimbal? I don't think that software stabilized video is anywhere nearly as good as gimbal stabilized. I mean, look at the Bebop, the Parrot Bebop. That was all software stabilized, and look at how bad that looked. Ron says, I have over 7,000 views on my Spark range test video. My most popular video. That's 7,000. That's good, man. Hey, Sean Coonery. Sean Coonery is back there in the background. Let's see. Hey, jumped on the table in the studio. That's funny. Let's see. I got a text coming in here. What's I got? Very cool. So, yeah, you got it. Ace Report says a zoom lens would be nice. You know, that's interesting. That's a very interesting point, Ace Report, because they put zoom out. You know, they've got the newer version of the Osmo, and that was one of the features that came with it was zoom. So I'm actually surprised they haven't released a zoom feature in a Phantom yet. Ron says Droney goes away from you at the current height, but you can manually raise the height manually while Spark. That's the root cause. I didn't manually raise the flight while I was flying away. Jack Lucas Mars says, I hate tap to focus so much that I have both programmable buttons on my Mavic to center focus. That's a cool workaround, man. Peeb Gaduli, I probably mispronounced that. Hello from France, 4 a.m. Welcome from France. Very cool, man. I was actually I was in the French West Indies not too long ago, and it was really, y'all had the best food, man. The French onion soup. I ate at a place down there in St. Bart's. It was a Jean Georges restaurant called On the Rocks, and man, French food is the best. Steve Boone says, agreed, Zoom would be awesome. Ace Report says, I recorded some UFOs, unidentified flying objects, but was unable to zoom in, so they looked like dots. Just curious, where are you able to spot UFOs? I've only I've seen a few. I was out over the Gulf of Mexico, and this was many years ago, way before drones were out. But there were 3 orange-colored dots. They lit up. They did not fall. You know, a lot of people are like, man, that's some sort of military maneuver. You know, they're dropping flares. But they weren't decreasing in elevation. They remained stationary. They lit up. They were visible for a while. And then they just quickly went away. It was really weird. Jack Lucas Mar says, dual camera on the Spark 2 or 3 maybe. Dual camera would be kind of cool. The Spark's field of view makes it feel like it's zoomed compared to the Phantom. I agree. Yeah, the field of view is nowhere nearly as good as the Mavic Pro or the Phantom. Bhendo says, what's going to be big for your channel in the next few months until the next DJI drone releases? Well, you know, my hope is that maybe we'll see another drone. You know, maybe it's not a DJI drone. Maybe it's you know, something like what was that company at CES that to my knowledge still is not delivered. They had that drone that looked really cool, Alltel. You know, they said they're going to have modular camera, 360 camera, this, that, and the other, but where is it? Where is it? Ace Report says, outside of my house on the 4th of July, floating balls of light. Are you sure those were UFOs? If it was on the 4th of July? I mean, I firmly believe in UFOs. I'm just kind of curious. I don't know if Makes you wonder if aliens, if they see all the lights, like on these holidays, you know, people shooting fireworks and stuff, if the aliens see it and they're like, they think it's some sort of thing that they need to go investigate because they see the lights on the Earth. It is interesting, though, if you've, just kind of a quick off topic here, but if you've followed current events, and I never participate in political conversations or anything, but if you do flip on the news and you've paid attention to some things that are quite interesting, and one of those things is that they're creating a new branch of the military for outer space, and it makes one wonder, why do we have this heightened demand for a new branch of military service? I mean, maybe it would make sense since we are going to Mars, or maybe there's already a moon base, that we would need some sort of military presence there. That would make sense. And I mean, there's a lot of people with seemingly verifiable evidence that suggests that there already is a lunar base, a base on the moon, that people live on the moon. But are they creating this new branch of the military to combat UFOs? I mean, because without a doubt, there's been a lot of UFO activity throughout the past few years, not just in the United States, but all over the world, which is kind of freaky. Jack Lucas Marr says, have you ever tried any of the Kickstarter drones? They seem cool, but the thing is they never seem to actually release. Well, that was the thing. I was looking at, and this one I don't think was Kickstarter, but remember the Lily drone? It got discontinued, and there was another one called a Flyby, Flybi. Still haven't seen it. I gave up. My experience, I know there's a lot of people that use Kickstarter to launch their products, and I commend them for that because it's a great way to get crowdfunding and get your idea off the ground, whether it's a drone or something else. But yeah, drones and Kickstarter don't seem to mix, and I don't know why that's the case. Ace Report says, I thought they were balloons, but they were moving like they were controlled by something. Yeah, I mean, there are some things out there in the sky, whether you believe in UFOs or not. I mean, there's, and that's a good application for drones, being able to investigate UFOs that are flying at a safe altitude. That'd be really cool. That would be a good YouTube video. Can you imagine going out to like a saucer? It wouldn't have to be a saucer, but it could be any sort of UFO-shaped aircraft, and having like some like non-human entity like waving at you, and that'd be kind of cool. Ron says, there are a few Mavic clones ready to come out, but they would just be inferior to the real thing. As much as I hate to say it, I think you're right. A clone is often, there's very, very rarely is something it's something that tries to imitate the best is often not as good. STK's Adventure Channel says, Brown Mountain Lights in North Carolina. We are heading there next month to check it out. Are those the lights when you said that when you were flying in from Bermuda? Are those the lights that you said you could see from your plane when you were landing? Fly High Guy says, me too. Ron Brown says, the company that makes the Dobby selfie drone are going to release a Mavic Pro killer and a Dobby 2. Huh. Have you seen the Walkera Mavic clone? I have not. Behindo says, where Behindo lives is a Class D airspace, which is legal to fly in there, or smaller airplanes and helicopters that fly always seem to be lower than 400. Let's see. We got Sean Coonery over here. I think he needs to join. Sean Coonery, why are you just sitting on the table watching? Why are you on the table? Why you don't want to get over here and talk to the microphone? He said he just wants to sit there. Yeah, he's Sean Coonery is. I mean, I'm not the only one excited about a new drone. I mean, he is personally very excited to see a new drone soon. Speaking of that, something I want to get a new chair. I've got this chair. I've had this chair for like 15 years, and it's got a built-in back massager, but it broke. So now it's just like a back massager that's stuck with the massaging part facing my back. So it's very uncomfortable. I need to get a new office chair. Are there any office chairs that people recommend? I mean, I don't know. Got to get something. I got that chair back there at the table, but that's the chair that Sean Connery likes to sit in if he's not on the table. Ron says the Spark already has the best battery life of any selfie drone. That's very true. And you know, a lot of people say that the Spark is a selfie drone. I think it's more than just a selfie drone. But for them to really make it more, they would need to enhance, like y'all have mentioned, they would need to enhance that battery life a little bit more. STK's Adventure Channel says, no, that was different. Brown Mountain Lights is a mysterious area in North Carolina mountains. Books written about it, TV documentaries. We're taking a special guest who will hopefully solve the mystery. Okay, so that comment from STK's Adventure Channel, youtube.com/SummertimeKen. He's taking a guest to the Brown Mountain Light, so that ought to be a cool video if you're interested in UFOs and other mysteries. So stay tuned to STK's Adventure Channel for that experience. Jack Lucas Moore says, when the Phantom came out, it had the longest flight time as well. Very true. And Ron says he has an old office chair that's broken in. Yeah, those broken in chairs are nice, unless they have broken in back massagers that broke in the forward direction. STK's Adventure Channel says at night these random lights come out in the valley. No city around. Will be cool to check out. Sorry on a tangent about UFO, aliens, etc. Well, I think there's most of us here would probably agree that if we saw a UFO with aliens in it below 400 feet in a place that was legal to fly, it would be a very cool drone video to try to get close to it. B-Hendo says, flew my drone on the 4th, getting awesome video. Ron says the Spark is a good companion drone to someone who already has a Phantom. That's exactly right. That is perfectly stated. A companion drone. There is Sean Connery. Let's see. He's sitting there. You can see him just staring at the TV. Or at the camera, rather. What I want to do is get this studio. I want to get back over there. I'm going to get this set up. Because this camera right now is just a little built-in iMac camera. But it's decent quality for this type format. But I don't have chroma key or anything like that. I want to get this set up. And let's see, what else do we have? What else we got that's exciting? This is cool. Everything from UFOs to lights in the mountains from STK's Adventure Channel. Ron says, I will pull the Spark out and fly it much quicker than I would Phantom. No one bats an eye when I get the Spark out. They think it's a toy. Again, another great use for the Spark. You know, it's something that, you know, as drone hobbyists, being a bunch of drone hobbyists, it's one of those things that likely most of us have encountered. We've been out in an area that's legal to fly. We've been out in an area there aren't people around. There aren't things that could be damaged if the drone should lose battery power and fall to the ground. But there's always those trolls. You know, those people that they see it and they say, man, what's that? I don't want that thing buzzing around. That sounds like a bunch of bees. I don't want that. What you trying to spy on? What you looking at, man? You trying to look in my windows? You know, I mean, that kind of stuff. You know, we get it all the time as drone hobbyists. And, you know, you made a great point. They think it's a toy. You know, Ron says they think it's a toy. And that is a great reason for, you know, for choosing the Spark. People look at it and it doesn't have that, and I don't know how anybody could look at a Phantom and say, ooh, that's bad, but they do. But, you know, make it a bright color, make it small, make it cute, and people will likely have a less negative perception of the product. And that's, that's an advantage that the Spark has that we don't get from the Phantom. And even the Mavic Pro, it's smaller than the Spark. But, they need to release the Mavic Pro 2 in a bright color so that it looks, more playful. We need to make this hobby stick around for the long haul. We don't need all the negativity. And that's a great point you brought up. Jack Lucas Mar says, do you recommend buying used drones? I sold my Phantom 3 Advanced for $750 Australian dollars, but have never bought a used drone. Well, I mean, it's a matter of personal preference. I mean, it's kind of I could throw the question back at you and say, do you like to buy a new car or used car? Typically with a used car, you can get it for a lot less, but typically with a used car, it's hard to really know what the previous owner or previous owners experienced. And even if they didn't experience anything, did they maintain it well? Did they park it down by the beach for 6 months and let the salty air hit it and start to corrode the vehicle that you may not know about? Did they leave the windows down and it flood the interior and you didn't know about that? I mean, there's the same thing with drones. I don't know. It's a matter of personal preference. Is the potential cost savings of going used better than the enhanced certainty of buying new and knowing that there wasn't a previous owner? I mean, I don't have an answer for you on that. Jack Lucas Mar says, I noticed it when I flew in San Francisco. It's so good in Sydney because people are so much more relaxed about it. People are more relaxed in San Francisco, or people are more relaxed in Sydney, Australia? Ron says, someday they will make a Spark that has all the features of a Phantom 4 Pro. No doubt. It's like anything else. Smaller, lighter, more affordable. Behendo15 says, you should do a drone flight commentaries like where you flying over and give context to some of your flights. That's very cool. Thanks. Now, Behendo says, always buy electronics new. I'm kind of in the same wheelhouse there. I'm trying to think of anything used that I bought. To be frank, I don't trust people, and that's why I seldom buy used. And maybe I've just got trust issues, but I don't trust anyone. And I know that sounds bad, but I don't. Jack Lucas Marr says in Sydney. So they're more relaxed in Sydney. Yeah, in Australia seems like a cool place, man. That's on my radar of a place to go. That and New Zealand, but yeah, in the United States, man. I mean, I've been to a lot of countries, but in the United States in particular, there seemed to be a large, and I'm not trying to overgeneralize here, but there seems to be a large camp of people that are just anti-drone, and I don't get it. I mean, there's so much that this hobby can do, and it's we're still in the infancy. So I mean, it's disappointing when I see people say negative things about drones. It makes me want to pull the drone evangelist out. And if you haven't checked that out, go to droneevangelist.com, and he's the guy that speaks the safe and responsible use of drones. And I need to post some more videos. Ron says, I have a used Lexus that I've driven for almost 10 years without any issues. Very good point. But the fact that a used Lexus had fallen from the sky probably didn't happen. See, that's the thing I think that makes drones different, because you get you've got that uncertainty. Has it fallen to the ground? Yeah, Behendo says, I don't consider cars as electronics. That's a good point. Cars, although they have a lot of electronics in, most of the newer cars have a lot of electronics in them. You're right, they're not really electronics. Good point. Sean Coonery is really into this show. I'm surprised he hasn't come over here and started talking. Hey, Sean Coonery, do you have anything you want to say? I just had something fall off the table here. Something big. What was that? Something fell. It was a phone. I got two phones. One in my pocket and one on my desk. Wow. STK's Adventure Channel still have a Phantom 1.1.1 that has been through a lot. Rebuilt, but has a lot of miles on it. You know, that's a real testament to the quality of DJI's products. And, you know, again, I've got to reiterate, I'm not a DJI fanboy. But it just happens that my favorite drones are all DJI. So, let's see. I use an iPhone. I did have an iPhone 6S, but now I got the iPhone 7 Plus because my 6S. This is a stupid thing with Apple, and I'll throw this out there. If you get water in your headphone jack, more than likely the phone is going to go into headphone mode, meaning that even after it's dried out, even after you restart the phone several times, even if you reset the phone, it likely still says headphones. It thinks there's a headphone physically inserted in there. I tried everything, cleaned it out, plugged and replugged headphones. It was so stupid, and I got so frustrated, I said, you know what? It's time to upgrade. So I got the iPhone 7 Plus that doesn't have the headphone jack. So I guess that's an advantage to not having a headphone jack, is that there's no headphone jack to get water in and have to encounter that issue. Because the only way I could talk on the phone was to plug in headphones or be on Bluetooth, and you know that doesn't work. That doesn't work. So Ron says, I have mostly good interaction with people while I'm out flying. Most people are very interested and ask a lot of questions. I've become a drone evangelist. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's that. And the flip side of that, though, and you know, not to sound negative, but the flip side is that a lot of people often act interested just to fish, to have ways to attack you, and I've encountered that several times. And you know, it's a shame when people do that, because you know, when people do that, what's funny is that often they're expecting a reaction. But if you know, or not necessarily you know, but you have a strong gut feeling that that's likely where the conversation is heading, you just kind of gobble it up, and you're just ready for you're just ready for them to turn negative. And my thing is, I just never give them anything. I'm like, you know, they're like this, that, and the other. Did you know drones are unsafe because of this, and that, and I'm this, that, and the other, and I just respond like, well, you know, why do you feel that way? Just ask them a question. And I never provide any opinions otherwise, and it really irritates them. And that's how to irritate people that irritate you. Jack Lucas Marr says, I'm an Android guy personally, just because there's more freedom to customize. I'm a Linux guy, but the bad part is that I switched to Mac OS 10 because of my video editing and my photo editing, and I wish there was an open source alternative that would allow me to run all of this software. But I kind of got married to Mac OS 10. I run Linux on all my servers. I run Ubuntu on my web servers, but on the desktop, yeah, I run OS 10, and on the phone, unfortunately, I run iOS. But it works, but it's frustrating at times, you know, as it is so locked down. Steve says, I use Android phone too, but recently got iPad mini for my drone, and it's amazing. Much better experience. Yeah, it's funny, when you're dealing with apps, especially for drones, it seems like the software just seems to be a better experience for iOS. I ran an Android tablet a while back. I think it was a Phantom 3 Pro. Can't remember, but yeah, and remember when they came out with the flight simulator or whatever, I don't think it would run on Android. It would run on iOS only, which was kind of silly. Yeah, Linux is cool, man. Well, I'm an old dude, and like I remember going to Comdex. I don't know if y'all remember those computer shows, but I would go and get all the free stuff from Red Hat booth. I had some T-shirts and coffee drink coasters and all that stuff back when Linux first came out. and started out with Slackware. That was my first flavor of Linux that I installed on the server, and I ran an IRC2 chat server on it, and a web server. Jack Lucas Morris says the thing with using an iPhone that annoys me so much is the displays. They just don't compare to AMO LEDs of Androids. Ron Brown says I use iPad Mini to fly my Phantom. Yep. Oh, this just in. Let's see. Okay. Good stuff. Yeah, so it's going to be. Let me get Sean Coonery over here. He's just kind of watching from the sidelines. We need to get him on the. Hey, Sean Coonery. Yep. Yeah, we need you to come over here. Let's talk to the audience. Say something. Yeah. Talk to the microphone. Talk to the microphone. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, so that's Sean Coonery. He personally likes a smaller drone that he can. He likes the gesture functionality because it's hard for him to use a controller. So yeah, when you bring him in the studio, he pretty much takes over, as you can tell. But he said, yeah. He's going to get down. I bet he goes back to his table. Nope. Yep, so there you have Sean Coonery, the enormous Maine Coon cat in the studio. Had to photobomb the Epic Drone Show. So what else we got out there? Well, we're an hour in, so I guess what I'm going to do now is go ahead and wrap up this show. Again, check out epicdroneshow.com. You can find all the drones there. Even got a link on there too where you can find used drones if you're looking for used drones. Just go to epicdroneshow.com, store, and then drone auction. And obviously Epic Drone Show t-shirts, all the previously recorded live episodes. And hopefully we're going to get some really, really exciting drones to tinker with here very soon. So, yeah, we're going to... it's going to be fun. But appreciate y'all tuning in. We're about to hit 1 hour, so I'm going to go ahead and call it a show. So let's see. Without further ado, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Thank y'all for tuning in, and stay tuned for another Epic Drone Show live show soon here on IrixGuy's Adventure Channel. Thanks for watching, and y'all have a good day. Hey y'all, IrixGuy here. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe, like, and share. It's viewers like you that enable my channel to continue to grow. Thank you.